Good evening, my dears. Hope you are good. So, for the last two classes, we have seen the voice, the grammar section. So, today we will start with this third supplementary reader. Right, third supplementary reader. What is the topic of this thing? It is the Hour of Truth. What is that? The Hour of Truth. It's a play written by Percival Wilde. So, when you're writing the topic of this supplementary reader, you're supposed to use this indefinite article the. Some of you guys may write like hour of truth. If you write hour of truth, it is completely wrong. So you're supposed to write it with the hour of truth, written by Percival Wilde. So before going to this supplementary reader, we will deal with this author's introduction, right, my dear? Okay. So this Percival Wilde was an American author and a playwright. So first of all, this fellow, he is an American author, American writer, and a playwright. So he wrote novels, short stories, and one-act plays. What are the different things he has written? What are the things? Novels, short stories, and one-act plays. Then he also authored a textbook on the theatre arts. So he has written a book based on the things called theatre arts. Right? He is the author and he has written a book especially on the theatre art. The technique is on the theatre. So native to New York City, Wilde graduated from Columbia University in 1906. So he is an American fellow. That's why he graduated from the Columbia University in the year 1906 and worked for a time as a banker. And moreover, he worked in a bank. For a time being, he worked in the bank. Then he began writing plays in 1912. Wilde's plays were especially popular in the little theatre movement. So the plays were especially popular. So his writings, right, especially is popular in the theatre movement. Okay, fine. Right. So Percival Wilde chose to portray the values of life in his plays, throwing light on the specific trait of an individual. So if you see most of his things, most of his works will portray an important core. What is it called? The value of life. What is it called? The value of life in his plays. So most of his plays will talks about the values of life and throw light on the specific trait of individual, how people are trapped, right? So his plays will talks about the being trapped for an individual. So his one act play, The Hour of Truth, is a testimony to his craftsmanship with the three classical unities of time, place, and action. See, time, place, action. These are the three important aspects for a play, right? Time, place, and action. These are the three important aspects for a play. Okay. Are observed, the climax of the play develops rapidly and ends with a pleasant surprise. So most of the plays will start with an ordinary way, and some play starts with something like a crime. But here this play starts with an ordinary and ends the climax will be a pleasant surprise. The climax will be a pleasant surprise, right, my dear? So let us move on to the play, right? So before going to this, they have given this pink box, right? All the lessons, all the prose as well as the poem and supplementary reader carries with this pink color box. What is this pink color? Because what, how this pink color box relates to the content. That is very important, right? We will move on to this one. We judge people around us based on their qualities and actions. Yes, of course. Right? We judge our nearby by their qualities and actions, whether they are good or bad. So, a quality of a person or their actions will reveal us how the persons they are, whether they are good or bad. We brand some people as good and some bad, and sometimes we come to a conclusion. Okay, this fellow is good, and some people we may judge. Okay, this fellow is not. Okay, fine. Okay, how we will come to a conclusion? Because of their qualities and actions, because of the characteristics, we come to a conclusion that they are good or bad. Okay, what qualities do you think characterize a gentleman? So we know how you call a man as a gentleman. what characteristics he should possess to be called as a gentleman. We know very well, right? Some of them may be merely eternal, external, and some others internal. Some other people they will expose it outwards, and some people, right, indirectly it will be right. Okay, fine. They have given this, see, well dressed, courteous. They have given, okay, fine. Then second important thing they are given, right? When we see a few coins scattered on the ground, we would probably pick them up and slide or walk away, ignoring them. How contemporary it is. When we see a few coins scattered on the ground, yes, of course, if you come across some coins that were scattered on the ground, and how many of us we will pick them up, or we will simply ignore it. Okay, this is not belong to us, so why should I take that one? How many of us we are ignoring that? And how many of us, okay, God has gifted, we may think that this is a gift from God. Somebody has missed it, right? But we may think that it is a gift from God, right? And in such a way we will think and we will take that one. So how many of us we will take that one, and how many of you will simply ignore it? Okay, what if it was an envelope of full of 2000 bills, 2000 rupees. So suppose if the coins of 2 3 or rupees is scattered, 2 3 coins is scattered, right? We will not give importance to those things, right? The same way, if you come across a cover that is worth of 2000 bills, right? A cover which it has 5000 or 10,000, how many of us we will simply ignore it? Never. Nobody will ignore it, right? So okay, fine, whatever it is, let us take in such a way only we will think and we will have it, right? How are you people likely to react in such a situation? That is very different. How are people likely to react in such a situation? So how people will react to such a situation? Whether they'll jealous, whether they will be trapped, or simply they will ignore it. The characters will decide it. Okay. And some people, they may think that this is not ours, so let us leave it. And some people, okay, somebody might have forget it, or somebody they have misplaced it, right? So we will hand it over the police station. Let them handle it. And somebody may think that, okay, let us, whatever it is, right? It is, we are in high need of money, so let us take. In such a way they may take it away. Okay. So the characteristics will identify or will judge whether he is a gentleman or the worst man. Okay, fine. Let us move on to the play. Here is a play which describes a situation where the honesty and uprightness of the protagonist is put to a crucial test. He is compelled by his family members to compromise on these ethical principles. Let us find how he is saved from the crisis. If you see some, the people, the persons, those who achieved in their life, they may have some principles, that is especially ethical principles, right? Ethical principles, they used to say, right? The ethics, they may have some ethics. So whatever the situation comes, they will never come down from their ethical principles. So here is a story based a person's ethical principles, what he did and how he was trapped and how he was straightforward. So that is the story, right? Okay, we'll move on to the characters now, right, my dears? Okay, listen carefully. The characters I'm showing you now, right? 5 important characters. What are they? Who are they? Robert Baldwin. Robert Baldwin is the hero. Otherwise, right, the main character is Robert Baldwin, right? So this play revolves around his honest, right? Robert Baldwin is honest, right? And second thing is Martha. Who is she? This Baldwin's wife, it is Martha. And John, their son, John. And Eve. Who is Eve? Their daughter. And Mr. Marshall, right? He comes at the last. Okay, fine. So 5 important characters are there in this play. So Robert Baldwin, Martha, John, Eve, and Mr. Marshall. Okay, fine. Let us move on to this play. So whatever it is, the background of the story, that is an important thing. So here Percival Wilde, he started this play by giving an introduction about the background, how the situation, he clearly depicts it. Beautiful things he has used. See how he started the play. It is rather a hot, sultry Sunday afternoon, and the sun overhead and the baked clay underfoot or merciless. In the distance, lowering the clouds give promise of a coming relief, and the parlor window of a trim little cottage, the Baldwin's family is anxiously waiting the return of its head. Return of its head, that means return of the head of the family is father, that is Baldwin. So who is the head? Baldwin is the head. Okay, fine. So how the climate it is? The climate it is hot Sunday. What day it is mentioned? Sunday. And the climate is too hot. And if you go with the barefoot, right, that will, that will kills you. So merciless, see how beautiful words he has used. Merciless. Underfoot are merciless. If you go barefoot, definitely that will kills you. That will burn your foot, right? In the distance, lowering clouds give promise of coming relief. But if the little distance, if you see, the clouds are there. So the clouds they are nearing. That means what? Few minutes, within a few minutes or few hours, you may get a relief from the hot, relief from the sun. And the parlor window of a trim little cottage, the Baldwin's family is anxiously waiting for the return of its. That means what? The whole family they are waiting for a person. Who is that person? The father. Who is the father? Robert Baldwin. So the Baldwin's family they are eagerly waiting for its head to be arrived. Okay, fine. John Baldwin's son, an average young man of 27, is smoking a pipe as philosophically of his day were no, which and more momentous than any other. So now this four violins talks about the John. Who is John? Baldwin's son. So Baldwin's son, he is 27 years old and he is smoking a pipe. 27 years old and he is smoking a pipe. And how he is, right? He thinks. No, nothing important thing happened. No interesting thing. But he was just like that, right? That is in such a way, John is there. But Martha, his mother, has made little progress in the last half an hour, and Eve, Baldwin's daughter, takes no pains to conceal her nervousness, right? Then talks about the Martha, mother, right? John is mother, and as well Baldwin's wife Martha, what she's doing. So Martha for the half an hour, right? Okay, did she did something? That's all. She also eagerly when you waiting for a person to come. Who is that? Baldwin. And the same Eve. So this girl, this girl Eve also, right, takes no pain to conceal her nervousness. She was little bit nervousness. What about what is going to happen? They're eagerly waiting for a person. Who is that person? Okay, so a complete silence. There is a pause. That means what? There is a complete silence. So what happened next? So seems as none of them likes to break the silence for the 10th time in 10 minutes, he goes to the window and looks along the sultry road. So 10th time within 10 minutes. This Eve, she is very eager to see or to invite her father. So within 10 minutes, 10 times she looked at the window whether her father arrived or not. She is eagerly waiting for her father. Okay, now the story starts. Okay, the scene at Baldwin's house. Where this happens? Baldwin's house. Martha. So who starts the dialogue? Martha. It's a time for, it's a time he was at home. So his wife, his mother, she says, okay, this is the right time for your father to come. Yes, mother, Martha. I do hope that he hasn't forgotten his umbrella. He has such a habit of leaving it behind him. So what she says next it is, Martha, she says, okay, nowadays what? He never forgot to take his umbrella because it is hot outside. So, right, and he has such a bit of leaving it behind him. And sometimes he just used to keep it, or sometimes he left it the umbrella also. Eve, yes, mother. It might rain, don't you think so, Eve? So, looking at the clouds little, far away, her mother says, what she says? Okay, Martha, okay, Eve, you just look at outside. It may rain, it might rain. Eve, after a pause, mother, what does Mr. Gresham want with him? Has he done anything wrong? Okay. So, Eve starts the curiosity now. Eve starts the, conversation, an important conversation. She talks about Mr. Gresham. Who is Mr. Gresham? Right? Let me tell you the background of the story. Mr. Gresham, he runs a bank. In that bank only, Baldwin, he works. Okay, so there was a corruption in the bank, and for that, the police people they arrested Graham. And one more thing, the Baldwin is going to give a witness against Graham. So people they are eagerly waiting for the father. Why? Because father went to meet Mr. Graham. So they are very eagerly waiting what they might have spoke, what conversation might have happened between Graham and Baldwin. So this is the background of the story. So Baldwin he has gone to see Mr. Graham, and that's why the Baldwin's family they are eagerly waiting for their father what they spoke. Okay, fine. Okay, so Eve she's asking what does Mr. Graham want with him? Has he done anything wrong? So Eve she's asking her mother, okay, mommy, what Graham want from our daddy? Has he done anything wrong? Whether this Graham, he did anything wrong? Then Martha, if your father, no, Eve. Actually, she means father. That means what? Has he done anything wrong? That means here he refers to her father. So if she says what she says, okay, mother, whether our father might have did any mistake. Martha, she says proudly, your father? No, Eve. No, Martha, she says, your father? No, Eve. Your father is a gentleman. He has a ethical principles. Your father will never commit any mistakes, right? Then why did Mr. Graham sent for him? Then ask Eve. She's asking. Then why, mommy? This Graham he called our father. What he is going to talk to our father, right? He is going to get arrested. Then in such a situation, why he called our father? Right, then he wanted to talk to him. So mother she says, okay, I don't know about anything, right? But Mr. Graham wants to talk to your father. That's why your father went there. What about Mr. Graham has been arrested? They are going to try him tomorrow. What can he want with the father? So if she's asking, okay, Graham is going to be arrested tomorrow. They are going to try him tomorrow. They are going to put him tomorrow in the jail. So at this 10th or 11th hour, why he want to talk to our father? Why? What is the reason? Martha says, your father will have to give evidence. So Martha she's replying what? Your father will have to give evidence. That means your father has to witness. Right? He's going to witness against Graham. That's why this fellow Graham wanted to convince your father, and that's why he called him. But he is going to give evidence against Mr. Graham. Why should Mr. Graham want to see him? That's why Eve says, okay, mother, our daddy is going to give evidence. Our daddy is going to give witness against this fellow. No, at this juncture, why this fellow wants to see him? I don't know, Eve. You know, your father doesn't say much about his business affairs. I didn't know there was anything wrong with this bank until I saw it in the paper. So Martha says, right, your father will never share about his business with me. And moreover, even I come to know about this corruption through the newspaper. Your father wouldn't tell me to draw money out that he thought it was loyal to Mr. Graham. So he knows the corruption, but at the same time, your father didn't ask me to take all the money from the bank, because if he says, and if I do that, then definitely what Graham may mistake us. That's why your father is still loyal to Graham. I did it out of my own against his wishes when I suspected. But what I did without your father's permission, I take away all the money from the bank. Okay, Eve. Do you think that a father had anything to do with? She does not like to say. So Eve now she traps her mother. She convincing her mother. What she says, you just see. Do you think that a father had anything to do with what she means? Eve she is asking her mother. Okay, mother. Why? What is the reason? Why he want to do anything with the money? That means what she is saying. He also may have a hand with the Graham. In such a way, she is asking Martha, with the wrecking of the bank, you know him better than that, Eve. Martha says, oh my goodness, right, Eve, no, don't think your father in such a way. Your father is a gentleman. You know him better than Eve. but he did not know what was going on. So Eve, she says, okay, how mummy, right, the corruption, how our father didn't know about this corruption now, right? How he, failed to find out this corruption. Then Martha, pause. Eve, I don't believe your father ever did a wrong thing in his life. Not if he know it was wrong. He found out by accident. Found out what Mr. Gresham was doing. So Martha, she says, right, even this our father, even he find out this one by accident only. This corruption, even your father only found out this one. Accidentally he found this corruption, and moreover, your father has no hand in this corruption. How do you know that? Then Eve asks, how do you know that, mother? Then what she says, I don't know it. I suspect it's something he said. You see, Eve, he can't have done anything wrong. They haven't indicted him. So her mother, right, Martha, she believes much on her husband because her husband, Robert Baldwin, is pure and he is honest and he is gentleman. And she witnesses, Martha, she witnesses that her husband has no hand in this one. So up to this we will stop, my dear, and tomorrow class we will continue with this next thing, right? So take care. See you in the next class.